Tonight on Rock Piss Live, Dwayne Johnson sucks, unprofessionalism, late to the set, having fights with Ryan Reynolds, the whole DC Studios thing. Wow, let's talk about this one. Chris Hemsworth admits that Thor had become a parody. At least he admits it. The Fall Guy comes out this weekend, so let's talk about some of those reviews and box office projections. Barry Jenkins pushes back on people saying that Mufasa is soulless. Well, I mean, he's got to, right? All that and so much more tonight on Film Junkie Live. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Does it smell like asparagus? Because he peed in that bottle right there.
Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
Well, hello everybody. What's happening? Welcome to Film Junkie Live on your Wednesday. It is hump day. How's it going? I'm sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Whoa. Hit that like, thumbs up, do everything like that. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hey, it's the middle of the week. We're halfway done. Thank God, right? It's been a week, I tell you what, guys. And I know I said I was like gonna be detoxing this week because I had a weekend of, but I was like, you know what? It's Wine Wednesday, so cheers. I poured a glass of wine. There you go, guys. I said F it. I was like, you know what? Need that Wine Wednesday going on right now. All right. How we doing out there? Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. Ooh, look at that. All right, we got Mr. James Noel right here. Happy middle of the week. Happy hump day. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. We got Eric right here. Honestly, I think the biggest question about Mufasa is why is Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the songs on that film instead of Moana 2? I forgot about that. Some people don't like that guy anymore really that much. Huh. What's going on, Miss Lisa Jackson? I hope that someone writes a book about DC and all the stuff that happened with WB one day. There could be a whole docu-series about the past decade. The past decade. Well, yeah, the past decade. Pretty much, well, there could be a whole series when it comes to the multiple decades, but I mean, especially when it came to when Snyder came into the picture after Man of Steel, and then everything that's with all that. I mean, there could be a docu-series with multiple seasons about what happened, I tell you. Hi. All right, who else we got here? We got Jason McKenzie. Cheers. Cheers, brother. Always helping out that pirate ship. And I do have a glass of wine this time, so cheers. Ahoy, ahoy. All right, let's keep that music going. Why not? Keep it going. All right, who else we got here? We got MSGT. It would make a, yeah, like I said, it'd be a full-on docu-series, so. We got Brendan right here. Hey, what's happening? All right. SpongeBob's 25th anniversary. 25 years? It's crazy. I know. I mastered. I kind of mastered. I don't know if that was a good SpongeBob laugh, but that's what I figured out that I could do a long time ago. But it's funny because it's like I watched the series but didn't, and then watched it and then didn't. I mean, it's it's iconic. It's really iconic. I don't think I've ever watched any of the movies though. I don't think I've ever watched any of the movies. Book starts with Snyder being hired. It ended with yeah. See, there you go. We got Axel right here. Good to see you, buddy. All right, we got Marvel Man as well. All right, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Holy crap, that was okay. Thank you. Yeah, I learned that I could. Yeah, you guys know I do voices and kind of stuff like that. So not bad, not bad. What's going on, Darkness? Good to see you. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, hey, guess what? I can maybe do the SpongeBob laugh. And we also got the Black Red right here as well. So good to see you guys. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when exactly I could figure out I could do the SpongeBob laugh. I don't really do his voice. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really tried his voice. It was mainly always the laugh of like, la, la, you know, it's just that. I don't know. Oh, SpongeBob. I don't know. Patrick is that one actor, right? I think. I'm trying to remember who voices him. So, who does that for him? And thank you, Lisa. You know, there you go. Hey, you know, I should just start doing more voices for some super chats. Really appreciate that. But yeah, so that was good, especially the final laughs sounding more. Yeah. It's just like you have to do that first part. That you have to like do that, and then you just like vibrate your throat right here. Frickin' A, man. Yes, of course, guys, I got the Giants game on. They're playing in Boston right now. Just like last night, they're getting frickin' rocked. It's 6-2 now. I don't even want to watch this. I don't know why I am. I don't even want to have it on, but anyways. I almost didn't want to say that. Yeah, but wasn't he an actor like in like some? I think he was an actor in the. Wasn't he in the series Coach that was in the 90s? Wasn't it that guy? Am I getting that wrong? Was he in Coach? He was like the big dude in Coach, right? Who kind of played a big dummy. I don't know if I'm right on that, but anyways. So we got Tet right here too. Good to see you. I don't know why. Am I wrong on that? I have to look that up. But crazy that it's been a quarter of a century since SpongeBob came about. Isn't there supposed to be like another SpongeBob movie coming out? Isn't it? Okay, Lisa. Okay, isn't it the guy? Isn't it his friend or whatever the hell from Coach? Isn't it that guy that does the voice? I don't know if I'm right. For some reason, I don't know. I might be totally just pulling this out of my freaking ass when it comes to this one, but I don't know. Somebody look it up. Who voices him? Is it the dude that he was on Coach? I don't know. The big dude, not the guy who played Coach. But anyways, I don't know. I could have swore that it was him that does Patrick. Yes, Tom Kenny. Okay, it's Tom Kenny. Is that what his name is? Okay, thank you. Okay, I knew I wasn't wrong. I was like, wait a minute, because as a kid, I watched Coach. My parents had Coach, and I watched it, and I remember thinking he was funny, the big dude, and yeah, because he's like a big dumb dude. And then of course I was like, and then I found out that he plays Patrick. Oh, that is a good play. Sorry, I just saw a good play that the Giants made. So, anyways, thank you. All right, thank you for confirming that. I thought I was about to lose my mind about that. I was about to IMDb that shiza right there. But anyways, all right, guys. Now that we've gone down that road. Now that we've gone down the road of like connecting SpongeBob with Coach, let's go ahead and get started. Of course, we're going to be talking about this Dwayne Johnson article that came out. That obviously the author of this article, not really a fan of. He blocked me a long time ago, of course, which probably one of the reasons why is because I've always called him Scoopy Pants. That's what I've named him, Scoopy Pants. That's right, because, he scoops in his pants. So there's something interesting about it. I mean, I think there's truths. There's going to definitely be some truths when it comes to it, at least when it comes to my knowledge of this article. But I think there's, I'm also scratching my head, rubbing my chin when it comes to this article, when it comes to certain things as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Chris Hemsworth admitting what I've been saying, because I definitely have been saying, when it comes to where Thor went to, when it came to Thor Love and Thunder. We're going to talk about The Fall Guy, which I'm very much looking forward to, and I definitely am seeing this movie tomorrow. I know the past couple of weeks, going to the movies has been a little bit more difficult for me, so... but I'm like, all right, I need to go to the movies, and I definitely want to see this movie. And then we're going to talk about Barry Jenkins, talking about, I did my reaction when it came to Monday, when it came to the Mufasa trailer, that, I just felt that it was a little soulless, and a lot of people have said that, so now he's kind of pushing back against that, and, it makes sense, but we'll talk about that too. But we're going to be talking about the tweets right now first. And the first tweet that I want to talk about, because, hey, we got our first look at Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. Megalopolis? It just feels weird to say. I almost want to say Metropolis or, whatever. But this movie that Little backstory when it comes to Megalopolis. Francis Ford Coppola, he's funding this movie himself. It's got a pretty star-studded cast, and everybody's just kind of hearing like that it's a disaster and all this kind of stuff. So I think we're all just kind of patiently awaiting like that trailer to see what this movie is actually going to be all about. I mean, it sounds really interesting. And this first shot that we get from the movie looks actually pretty cool. Not a bad looking shot. We got Adam Driver and Natalie Emmanuel right here on top of a building. I'm not sure what he's looking at right there. I'm not sure if there's like something. Obviously, this is going to be taking place in some kind of futuristic kind of setting. But that shot looks pretty cool. Not going to lie. So I'm not quite sure exactly what to take from this. But hey, I'm just saying that this shot looks pretty cool. I mean, I like Adam Driver. I like Natalie Emmanuel, but it's... I forgot to turn that off. But for being, Francis Ford Coppola, he's up there in age. This might be one of the last movies we get from him, and he's had a pretty rough year. I know, like, his wife passed away, but I don't know exactly if everything was still good when it came to that, and there were reports that were saying that this whole thing's a disaster. I'm really rooting for it, to be honest. But yeah, that was from Vanity Fair right there. First look at the movie. So we'll see. I am curious, and I'm looking forward to it. You know what also I'm looking forward to? Because, of course, I am. I'm looking forward to My Adventures with Superman Season 2!
Stay away from
Hold on. Let me turn that.
Steel are back.
There we go.
Just three best friends living their best lives.
Sorry.
Let's just go with my plan.
What's your one?
Well, you guys are still hearing it, actually. Let me... So we got the first trailer for Season 2 when it comes to My Adventures with Superman, and look what we got right here. We got a Lex Luthor. We got a Lex Luthor that is young and looks like he's running... Well, like a young startup, It was kind of curious because a lot of people were wondering when it came to Lex Luthor in this series, how are they going to approach Lex Luthor? And, well, they kind of went the approach of what Snyder went through right here. And I'm just saying, I'm okay with it because I actually like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman, in his universe. I like the fact that he was like, you know what, we're going to have Lex be this kind of version. And something fresh, something new, something different. And apparently they're kind of taking a similar approach because, yeah, look at that. He looks pretty damn young right there. Just got some glasses on. No baldness quite yet. And then, of course, just showing all kinds of, returning villains, more action, all this stuff, more robots, more everything. And then, of course, what? We got another... Kryptonian, who is that? What the hell? We got some Supergirl. What? It was pretty much already teased, but yes, we have Supergirl showing up in Season 2 of My Adventures with Superman. Yes. I guess. I don't know. It seems a little too soon, but I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, already Supergirl with Season 2. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, we're good. But cool. No, I enjoyed the first season, so I'm looking forward to the second season. Oh boy. Margot Robbie, Olivia Wilde, set to direct a comic book movie, but not anything that, is very well known. Something called AVEGELYNE. AVEGELYNE? Am I saying it right? I think I'm saying it right. But apparently that's all set to go. Something from Mr. Robert Liefeld that's going to be coming, I think, from Warner Brothers right here. But I'm just kind of wondering, well, when I see the image of what this character actually looks like, are we going to get a comic book accurate costume right here? Is that what Margot Robbie's going to be wearing? Because, you don't need to say any more. I'll be showing up. I'll watch it probably about 6 or 7 times if that's going to be the case. But yes, Margot Robbie now eyeing. It's not set in stone yet, but we got Tony McNamara that is going to be writing the script right here, and Olivia Wilde set to direct. We already heard that she might be set to direct this. Now, who knows if they're actually going to do like this kind of costume when it comes for her, but hey, you know. I think all of us would kind of go like, yeah, can it's okay. She can wear that or something similar, right? Just saying. I have no idea who this character is. Never even heard of this character before all these reports, but yeah. Well, let's face it, it's not going to be exactly like that, but it'll probably be similar, but at the same time, it's just like, sometimes, I mean, I wish that there would be more of these, like, these comic book characters that you just don't hear about or whatever, but maybe has a good, like, fan following, and you give them a small budget, and it's like, hey, why not do that? I'm still waiting. You know what I'm still waiting for? I'm still waiting for a comic book accurate rendition of The Mask, okay? That's what I'm looking for. As much as I love, and it's funny because in the comic book, that's not what the actual mask looks like. This is the movie version. I love the movie with Jim Carrey, but I want an actual, you know, accurate adaptation of The Mask that's R-rated, really gory, you know, bad language, all kinds of stuff. I want that version. I've been screaming for that for forever. But I especially been screaming for that after Deadpool came out because I was like, yeah, see, you could do it. You could do it. You know, let's just do like I'm waiting for that news. When are they actually going to give us that version of The Mask? Big head, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And then we got this right here. Zack Snyder posting this right here, this behind-the-scenes video, and you'll see some familiar faces that may have been on the Vodka stream a time or two.
Dream come true as a fan.
Literally the greatest thing to happen to me.
I'm over the moon about it.
Blown away.
This is one of my bucket list goals to be on a movie set like this. All 10 of us got golden tickets.
I didn't expect such an amazing day. It was incredible.
It's much larger than I had envisioned.
The things we saw today, just unbelievable.
A unique opportunity that you really don't expect or can't really prepare for.
The second I heard the name Zack Snyder, I was like, I have to enter.
All right, so I'm not going to show the whole thing. Obviously, a lot of you are probably already saw it. But yeah, Zack posted this right here. He basically said that in late 2022, we had the privilege of hosting a group of fans on the Rebel Moon set. They were incredibly talented art contest winners, and we were thrilled to spend time with them. We recently learned that one of the participants, Dave Wolf, passed away since the visit. Dave's talent and energy was contagious to anyone that had the pleasure of crossing his path. We send our heartfelt condolences to his family and friends and are posting the video below as a tribute to him. So obviously, you know, I'm sure most of you guys watched that video. I remember hearing about it. I even had, I think after that happened, I had both Aaron Bailey and Dawson. They were both on the Vodka stream that when they got back, I was like, hey guys, come on. Obviously, they couldn't talk about much, but yeah, you saw them right there. But yeah, you know, rest in peace and condolences to Dave Wolf, his family and friends right there. That sucks. You never want to hear that, you know, especially when didn't, you know, visit the set. I don't know the extent of why he passed away. I don't know if it was like an illness or some kind of accident or something like that, but condolences for sure. And it sucks that he, you know, didn't get to see the director's cuts after visiting the set right there. So, but yeah, obviously, yeah, like I said, Aaron and Dawson, of course, have been on the Vodka stream many times. And yeah, we had a Vodka stream after, and of course, they couldn't talk about much, but now they could talk a little bit more about things and everything. So that was pretty cool, though. That I'm glad that Zack posted that video. I thought that was pretty sweet. And then, yes, guys, a year ago yesterday, oh, this picture, this was yesterday, just like when it came to my image, you know, at full circle with Zack Snyder, but a year ago yesterday, this image right here was taken. That's right, look at that. Aww, with Ray Porter, Darkseid himself. And of course, there's me, there's Steven, there's Scott, and then there's Joey Bear right behind there as well, sneaking in there. Yeah, awesome moment right here when we were about to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League in the movie theater. Ray Porter walked up and we were like, "Oh, Ray!" And we just like bombarded him and we just took a quick picture. My mom actually took this picture, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was my mom that took this picture. Mama Film Junkie took this picture, but yeah, it was like one of those like, "Oh, we got to do that. We got to get that." And yeah, we just like snuck in. I'm groping Steven right there, just like grabbing his boob. It's great. It's all great. Dark side for dark side, but yeah, it was a pretty fun moment right there when that happened. We all just kind of freaked out and everything, but yeah, that was a year ago yesterday. Hopefully there'll be another like full circle type of event again. Who knows when that'll be? I mean, I was kind of hoping that there would be, what I'm hoping for Rebel Moon, the director's cuts, is like maybe there'll be some kind of full circle kind of event when it comes to that, or because it's 2 movies that are 3 hours long, let's spread them over like, 2 nights. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Who knows? But hoping that there'll be something maybe similar, maybe not as big, but something similar when it comes to that at least. Well, here's something that'll piss off some of the James Gunn haters out there. That's right. Yeah, some people will just be like, whatever, but it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I get it. You don't like them. It's fine. It's just like, people don't like certain directors. I mean, I've defended Zack for how long now? For pretty much a decade when it comes to things. And when it comes to box office, which a lot of people like to bring to the debate or bring to any arguments against or for a director, is always box office numbers, and of course reviews. People of course use the reviews to their liking. It's just the way it is. Fandom is the way it is. But when it comes to like at least like facts and numbers that are actually out there, I mean, you can't deny that Guardians of the Galaxy was, well, I guess you could say it had a pretty good net profit of $124 million, making it one of the most profitable films of 2023. That's right. This is according to Deadline right here. I mean, with 2023 being a very, very difficult year for the superhero genre, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 like just went to the moon. It made what, like $860 million? I mean, it made a ton. And I think it had like a $250 million budget or something like that. So you'd have to do the math, of course, of like timesing it by 2.5 to 3, whatever the hell, and then of course you get that again. I don't know exactly the full-on formula, but it's basically you take the budget and you times it by 2.5 to 3 of that. And yes, it did make that, and it was one of the most profitable films. But 124 million. I mean, I'm sure, of course, like Oppenheimer was probably the top one. Barbie was probably a short second. Not exactly sure where Guardians 3 was, but I mean, again, love or hate them, I mean, that movie still was pretty big, and a lot of people enjoyed it because, I mean, I did. It was definitely better than the second one, and then, of course, it gives you hope for, hey, hopefully something like that will happen with Superman. But we'll see. We'll see, but there you go. There you go. Guardians 3, there you go. Oh, yeah, you want to... Okay, here's another shot of that day, too. This is a pretty cool day. We had kind of like a fan meetup. So this was also a year ago yesterday, before we actually went over to the movie theater. But Fear Jason right here posted this shot right here, which I don't know. My mom didn't she didn't take a picture of this shot right here. But there was we all met at the Batman statue, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, so we had some people, some fans that met with us, and then of course people that were actually going to be showing up to the screening. So there's all of us right there, just kind of chilling. Of course, I wore my Truce Bruce shirt because I wanted to be, I wanted to be different. I didn't wear any other shirts. So yeah, so that was also a cool little time too. I had one of the best breakfast burritos that I've ever had that morning, and that place is now closed. Sucks that place is closed now. The restaurant that we went to, and it was actually a pretty funny, we got to that area, and then all of us, there was probably about 5 of us that were trying to figure out where we wanted to eat breakfast. We hadn't eaten breakfast yet. And we were kind of walking around going, where do we want to eat? Where do we want to eat? And then we were like going the wrong direction. We were kind of like getting a little bit lost, but we were all like freaking hungry as hell. And then we found this little place that was serving breakfast. And I tell you what, I got a breakfast burrito, and it was one of the best breakfast burritos I've ever had. My stomach just went right now, just thinking about it. And I even, Steven, he got a breakfast sandwich, and he said it was one of the best he ever had too. I mean, it was just so freaking good. And then I looked it up. Place it's closed. It's closed now. Not even there. A year later. A year later. And of course, the Giants lose again. Yes. Boy. Anyways. Okay. Freaking Giants, man, I tell ya. Freaking Giants. And I'm sure some of you guys saw this, and well, let's face it, guys. After the whole little Ryan Gosling, Beavis and Butthead skit that happened on Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago, well, it took the world by storm. And let's face it, there's going to end up being a live-action movie of these two characters that aren't Beavis and Butthead, but look like Beavis and Butthead, and they showed up. Ryan Gosling, and I forget what's his name is. I'll look in a little bit here, but they showed up to the Fall Guy premiere. That's hilarious.
Ryan, right here on the left side, Ryan. Ryan's on the left side. Right. Ryan, right here on the left side.
I can't believe it. What's the other guy's name? Mikey Day. That's right. That's what his name is. But yeah. You already know somebody is writing a script right now. There's no way that that's not happening. Ryan Gosling, I mean, good on him. He's leaning into like all this stuff. And again, people who have not watched The Nice Guys, do yourself a favor and watch that movie. Yes, Ryan Gosling, of course, he's, done the dramatic roles, good-looking dude, heartthrob and whatever, but the dude is fucking funny. The dude is a funny dude. I mean, I think we're like, a lot of people are like realizing that, not realizing that when The Nice Guys came out in 2016? And it's like, that sucks because it's like, it would have been awesome if there was a sequel to that movie. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Nice Guys, go back and watch that. Dude's freaking hilarious, and he's just leaning into a lot of like comedy stuff right now, and I'm really looking forward to The Fall Guy. But it was just like, yeah, he just showed up right there, and I'm like, that is freaking awesome. You know what else is awesome? Whoa, okay, so take a little sip. This is what I love. I love this. And we got Arthur Lee right here, who's an animator and an illustrator. And you should follow him because he made something pretty damn badass that I'm going to be showing you right here that has to do with the Batman. He made an animated version of the Batman, kind of almost anime-like. Check this out. What? That's the truth. Catwoman. Close up on the eye. Up, getting that adrenaline. Look at that shot. Look at that shot. Get the fuck out of here. I want a whole series now. Jesus. That's what I'm talking about right there. Jeez. Badass. I love it when stuff like that comes across my feed, and I think Giacchino actually retweeted it, and that's how I found it. No, it wasn't him. It was Mattinson who wrote it. That came across my feed, and I'm like, holy crap! that is so freaking cool. But yeah, kind of like an anime version of the Batman. I hope Matt Reeves sees that and freaking retweets it. That'd be pretty sweet. Let's see. What are we doing here? And speaking of animation, apparently when it comes to X-Men 97, and no, guys, I have not started watching it yet. I'll get to it. But apparently when it comes to, when it comes to the creator of X-Men 97, which I know he's kind of, I'm trying to remember his name, but I know there's like some things when it comes to him, something about OnlyFans, and then there were some allegations that kind of came out today on Twitter. I'm not going to even like go into all that. But apparently the dude likes Man of Steel because there was already like one comparison shot where I think it was, I don't know which character it was, I forgot which character it was, but a character that flies was actually flying, and it was kind of looking like Man of Steel. And he confirmed that, yes, that it is very much, in fact, inspired by Man of Steel. But apparently there's also another shot that happens in X-Men 97 that also is from Man of Steel, which is this right here.
I see a child who could hear things.
That could hear things. So there's some like comparisons right here to Man of Steel as well. So there's some inspirations going on right here, and apparently in X-Men 97. The Bayesian flashback. Pretty interesting. So apparently he's when it came to writing some of these episodes, they were very much inspired by Man of Steel. It's interesting. It's almost like that movie, kind of, changed the game a little bit. Had some pretty cool things that happened in it. I don't know. Man of Steel, good movie. Great movie. Great Superman movie. In my opinion, my favorite Superman movie. Yeah, a lot of good things when it comes in there. So that's pretty cool. Uh-oh, guys. There was some drama that happened yesterday, that came out yesterday when it comes to the Hellboy movie. That's right. We're getting another Hellboy movie. Remember that. We've already had 2 versions of Hellboy. We're getting a 3rd version of Hellboy. Don't forget, we're getting another version of Hellboy. And yesterday when it came to the guy, the director, which I don't know his name right now, but he was on a podcast or something and was basically talking about, when it comes to Hellboy, the dreaded 2 words that people don't like to hear, AI. He talked about using AI for Hellboy, and that came about, and that was all over Twitter, and a lot of people were not happy about it, because anytime you talk about anybody utilizing AI to create things, there's a bit of a shitstorm. And he was basically saying that when it came to creating creatures and everything, that he utilized AI, was able to do that, and then he could send it off to the VFX department, and then they could finish it off. It got to the point that even the creator of Hellboy chimed in and said, what the hell? I didn't agree to this, because apparently he's looking over it and not happy about it. A lot of people not happy about it, and I remember seeing it too, and I was like, there's something weird about this, because it's like a quote, but there's not much to the quote when it came to this. And then it was like, I'm just going to sit on it. I'm not going to comment about it right now. And sure enough, the director of the new Hellboy film says there is no AI in the film, and he was misquoted in the Motion Pictures article. The comment was referring to a different film, The Offering. Rest assured, there is 0 AI used, and our gloriously practical Hellboy looks phenomenal. Probably the article was written by AI. I like that. Push it back against him. You're accusing me of AI. I'm accusing you for AI with your article. So, yeah, I'm glad that nobody overreacted. No, a lot of people did. Of course they did. I mean, there's a lot of, but it was just when you actually read the quote, and it was just like, all right, that was pretty much it. There wasn't like any kind of like nothing else when it came to that. It did seem a little weird. And I mean, yeah, he's still using AI for something else, but apparently this is something that he created himself. So he utilized AI as a tool, and he even said something about like, well, AI is not going to replace people, but people who utilize AI are going to replace those people who don't. It's like one of those things. I mean, AI is just a very, very touchy subject when it comes to a lot of things. And yeah, there are a lot of people that weren't too happy about that. James Gunn posted that he got a new statue of Superman and Lois. I'm sure some of you guys saw that, which is pretty cool. And this is actually pretty sweet too, because I've always looked up to Chris Stuckmann, and he filmed a movie. He filmed his own movie, and apparently Mike Flanagan has joined as an executive producer for his movie that is Shelby Oaks. The horror film follows the story of a fictional mid-2000s U.S. investigative team called the Paranormal Paranoids. Yeah, if you follow Chris Stuckmann, he's talked about it. He filmed it a while ago. It's taken a little bit to get out there. I'm sure it's already ready to go. I'm sure it's in the can. He probably tweaks it every now and then and just like looks at it. But yeah, I've been very much looking forward to it because, you know, I've always found Stuckmann as a inspiration. I mean, do I agree with every little thing that he says? No. Tell that to Zod's neck. If you know, you know. But, I mean, he was one of the reasons why I started YouTube. I watched his reviews because I like what he always had to say about movies, and I've agreed mostly. I probably like 85-90% of the time I like agree with how he looks at a movie. It's just that's what I always found when it came to Chris Stuckmann. So when I heard he was actually doing a film, and a horror film to boot, I was like, okay, sweet. I'm definitely going to be checking that out, and kind of curious to see him, since he's been reviewing films on YouTube for so long. How is that going to translate to his very own film? And to have Mike Flanagan as an executive producer, that's a fucking W right there. So cheers to him, man. That is freaking kudos to him. One of these days, guys, maybe one of these days, yours truly. I've made short films in the past. I have. Maybe one of these days it'll happen again. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, so Mad Max Fury Road sequel already has a story. That's right. George Miller has said he wrote the story and hopes to turn it into a screenplay one of these days. And apparently it's going to be set 1 year after Mad Max Fury Road. So obviously we got Furiosa coming out, but then Mr. George Miller is just like, hey, I ain't getting any younger, because he's not. He's in his 70s. Mind you, he's in his 70s. And he's like, you know what? I might as well just go out just doing this whole Mad Max saga, and I might as well film another Mad Max. I'm just kind of wondering, is Tom Hardy going to be down for another Mad Max? And hey, George Miller, bring back Mel Gibson for something. I don't know, just something. Wouldn't that be cool to see Mel Gibson back in that world? For one last hurrah, you know, it's kind of like this is like a new trilogy. You know, you got Mad Max Fury Road, you got the prequel Furiosa, and then you have, you know, I don't know if Charlize Theron would come back too, maybe. I know there was some tension when it came to her and Tom Hardy on set. Yeah, if you guys read about that, there was some tension. But yeah, he's already got a story for 1 year later after Mad Max Fury Road. So please let it happen. Please let it happen. Oh, and we cannot wait for this. We cannot wait for this, guys. Rebel Moon Part 1, the director's cut. Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire? No. Chalice of Blood. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. But yes, this is according to, if you search on, I forgot, it's like film something, some kind of search, but apparently they've already released why it's R-rated, so apparently they got it down from an NC-17 to an R-rated for brutal, bloody violence and gore, sexual content, graphic nudity, and language. And apparently the title, because Zack did say that the titles are different when it comes to the director's cut, Chalice of Blood. And then I posted this right here. Thank you, Jason McKenzie, for sending me this image. You know, I kind of wanted to make it sound like that's Zack telling me the title. I'm not even sure what was happening in this shot right here. Why I'm looking, yeah, we're smiling though. It's a good touching moment. But there you go. It's not like we didn't know it was going to be bloody, gory, language, sexuality, all that stuff. But the title That's right. We got a title right there. So that title, of course, sounds really freaking awesome, and I love it. I actually love it. So that sounds good, and that's a cool shot right there because we actually have our drinks next to us because the shot that I posted before didn't have the drinks. So yeah, so it just looks pretty good. Love it, love it, love it. And you know what, guys? The director's cuts are out, or the PG-13 cuts are out. The PG-13 cuts are out, and I get it that everybody keeps on complaining that it shouldn't have happened this way, shouldn't have happened this way. Okay, but it did, and now that happened, so now we have to look forward to the R-rated cuts, okay? Let's stop complaining what should have been, and let's look forward to what's going to be coming out. How about that? How about we do that? Can we do that? You know? Because I still get people that are just like, that still keep on talking about it. It should have been this, should have been. Okay, it should have been, but it wasn't. Now it's this. So if you're still a fan of the man, if Zack Snyder, you know, just because he made a couple of movies you didn't like, and maybe now you're not a fan, okay, that's fine, move on. But if you're still a fan of him, let's move on past that. I get it, you didn't like those. But now we can just look forward to these cuts that's going to be bloody and all this stuff. Bloody, gore, graphic nudity, all this stuff. We're going to get the real versions. Let's support that instead, because the cuts are not even fully done yet. We already know that he's posted pictures of like, oh yeah, doing some recording sessions with Anthony Hopkins not too long ago. The cuts aren't even done yet. But let's just look forward to the future, okay? You don't have to even think about these anymore. They're there for people who want to visit that. I did see something on Twitter though that somebody posted that I thought was pretty cool, that, you know, he's giving Netflix again 4 movies essentially for a budget that is under a lot of other ones, like I don't even remember like which movies that they use as an example, but there are movies that cost more. Just one movie, he's given 4, and it's like, all right, see, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So yeah. And like I said, if you didn't even see the PG-13 cuts, good. I'm just saying, like, let's just kind of like move on. We'll move on from the PG-13 cuts. You didn't like them, that's perfectly fine. But now, let's just support what's coming in the future. We can now look at that into the past. Anyways. And then, of course, we have some cool Deadpool things right here. Look at this. Official comic art posters for Deadpool and Wolverine. So taking that concept from the official posters that actually had the reflections off the claws and of course the swords right there, and putting it into a comic book type of poster. And yes, looks cool. I want that. I would love those posters. I think a lot of us would. So anyways, okay. Are we good? Charlize's Goblet of Fire was taking a Goblet of Fire. I'm not into X-rated movies. PG-13 cuts kind of killed it for me, but see, that's the thing. It's like, okay, I understand. But I mean, just give it a chance. Just give it a chance, and then let's just move forward. Because again, it's like when I see people like talking about that and just like going hard on that, it's just like, okay, we get it. Like, some people don't like what happened. I totally understand that, and we're going to see exactly if this does pay off. Does it pay off? Does it actually work? But I think it kind of does pay off because, again, 4 movies for like the budget of 166 million, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. Who knows if those numbers are even correct, but yeah, we'll see. But at the same time, I'm just asking, like, especially Snyder fans, when it comes to them, it's like, okay, if you're now not, if these movies didn't kill it for you as Snyder fans, just support the director's cuts now. I mean, odds are the director's cut might not even be your thing too, but at the same time, it's like, all right, but this is the movie. Yeah, we could talk about like all the time, and I've seen it many times, like over, especially in the past like 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I've been seeing it for pretty much since the first one came out. It's like constantly talking about like, it should have been this, it should have really, yeah, okay, we get it, but it's not the case. And you talking about it so many times, it's not going to change. It's not going to change the past. This is the way it is, and now we're getting the director's cut, so let's just put some support right there. Or just don't talk about it. And we got right here, Nerdy Mastermind. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Do the R-rated cuts come with a new screenwriter? These scripts are just awful. Having more blood won't change anything. No, it's just going to be coming. I think it's the same. It's the same writers, but it's going to be like more to the story. There's going to be way more meat on the bone. You know, it's going to start differently. It's going to be basically like that. So, I mean, it sounds like you've already made up your mind. Again, it sounds like you already made up your mind. You're probably not going to like the director's cut. So maybe just nerdy. You should just probably ignore it. It's probably not for you. You know, I'm just, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Probably not for you. No, but it's still the same people. They just wrote two different scripts, and one that pulled punches like crazy, and then one that is the actual core of the script. Or give it a chance and see what it's like. So, yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot more meat on the bone when it comes to this stuff, right? When it comes to the story. So, all right. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, I got the AC on. A little warm today. Speaking of warm, bottles of Voss on Dwayne Johnson sets are pretty damn warm because he pisses in them. Apparently. Holy Lord. Okay, so Dwayne Johnson. We got this new article that came out from The Wrap, and a certain, writer named Umberto. Scoopy Pants, as I call him. Not a fan. He blocked me. He even blocked me. Even the Rap blocked me on Twitter because, I push back against some things. But, this article came out yesterday when it came to Dwayne Johnson being unprofessional on sets of movies. Here's the article right here. Red One down, how Dwayne Johnson's tardiness led to a $250 million runaway production. Exclusive! And of course, you have to pay to actually read the article. Naturally. Who's going to pay for that? But it's always kind of funny because it's like, okay, yeah, you could do that. But then there's just people that screenshot it and put it on Twitter or social media anyways. And yeah, it was basically saying, so here are the claims. So here are the claims right here. When it came to Red One, which is, of course, the Santa Claus movie with Chris Evans, he apparently inflated the budget because he was constantly late on set. Okay. Then there's also claims when it came to Red Notice. Then there's also claims when it comes to the Red Notice, which that's pretty weird. It's like two reds? Okay. That he and Ryan Reynolds got into a fight on set because of his lateness. And then it was said that he does not use the bathroom when on set. He just pisses in Voss water bottles that are empty. And yes, apparently, he has a connection or, association he's working with, sponsor, whatever the hell, with Voss, which was kind of interesting too, that it was like, okay, you have the name right there. Interesting. That's a lot. That is a lot right there. A lot of... Okay. So when all this information came about, I was just kind of like, all right. I don't believe some of this stuff. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what happens if there's any kind of pushback when it comes to this. Ryan Reynolds, maybe he'll say something. There has been claims of this before, mind you. I'm not going to say that there has not been claims of him being late to set before. I think the whole him and Vin Diesel thing, I think there's been claims when it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to Fast and Furious. But it does seem a little weird that, okay, well, if this is Dwayne Johnson who is trying to stay on top. He's trying to stay on top and, of course, wants to work with the biggest movies and make the biggest entertainment. It just seems like him being so late to set just seems a little weird to me. and costing inflated production budgets seems a little weird to me. Now, mind you, I do think that the guy definitely has an ego. Don't think he doesn't. I mean, obviously he puts on this persona of like, you know, you got to work hard, you got to do this. But even sometimes I think a lot of people are going like, when the fuck does he have time to work out? If he's working out like 2 hours a day, when does he have time to do that with all the shit that he does? And then it's like, well, maybe some of that ends up him being late to set. I don't know. But this kind of late, I don't know. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird in my eyes, because I'm like, well, then nobody would want to work with him, and I don't think anybody would want to continue making these big, huge budgets with him if he's constantly doing that. The whole thing, pissing in bottles, I don't even want to dive into that. That was just weird. It's just weird that there is that little detail when it came to this article right here, talking about pissing in those specific kind of bottles, because obviously it's like, all right, he's bringing those to set. Doesn't he? I don't know. It was just kind of like very odd to me. Like, okay. He doesn't want to go to the bathroom. He just whips it out and just in the corner, just fucking, you know. He just does that. It just seems a little weird. I don't know. It seems like a little bit of parody. But again, it's Scoopy Pants. He probably got some information. Who knows? He got some information when it comes to that. But things I've been telling you for the past year and a half when it comes to Dwayne Johnson and when it comes to DC Studios, Black Adam, Henry Cavill, there's some of that that's in this article apparently, and I was like, oh, look at that. Yes, some of the stuff that maybe I've been talking to, that I've been hearing when it came to all that, and him trying to, of course, take over DC and lead it into the Rockverse, as I called it, and that was talked about in this article, and I went, well, that's the stuff that I've been hearing. Screenshot. Matters all came to a head in 2022 when Johnson and Danny Garcia met with Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav on not only inserting Superman back into Black Adam, but according to 4 insiders with knowledge of the meeting, positioning $7 to run DC and replace then Chief Walter Hamada. An individual close to $7 said the meeting was about Black Adam and an introduction to Zaslav, who had just taken over the studio. This person denied that the meeting was aimed to pitch Hiram Garcia as replacement for Hamada. Garcia wasn't hired to run the unit, and Johnson and $7 were evicted from DC shortly after the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran to run the division. Additionally, former Superman actor Henry Cavill fired Danny Garcia as manager as a result. Yes, let's blame James Gunn. Blame James Gunn. No, let's blame Dwayne Johnson and $7 and Danny Garcia. That's what I kept on saying. It's their fault what happened. They promised him. They were working with, of course, Pam Abdi and Michael DeLuca when it came to all this. Obviously, they were trying to do something, and they brought him back, did not give him a contract, but promised him a contract, and then look what happened. I mean, I will always say, like, this is what happened. Now, when it comes to details, when it comes to everything, because everything was just a freaking mess, of course, those little details are just like, jeez. It's always funny, too, because it's like, as much as we want to Cavill back, I think, like, the people that are, like, complaining about this and blaming James Gunn, it's like, okay, did you want to have James Gunn direct Henry Cavill in a Superman movie? Because something tells me those people don't want that either. Right? I mean, it's like, and that's what I always was stressing about. I'm like, okay, it's like, yeah, Henry Cavill would have been back, would have been cool, would have been interesting, still would have liked to see that Man of Steel sequel, but at the same time, it was going to be in a different direction. It wasn't going to be the same direction. I want to see what Snyder had for him more when it comes to him, you know, Superman coming, you know, doing the whole, here I am, and then I sacrifice myself. Rebirth, anti-life equation, Lois is dead, and then rebirth again kind of thing, and then getting back to, humanity, I guess you could say, which Zack has talked about even recently when somebody asked him about that. But I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't think the people who don't like James Gunn, do you really want Henry Cavill to be directed by James Gunn? Probably not, but but that's what I've always, and it was kind of funny because a lot of people actually tagged me, not a lot of people, but some people tagged me on that. It was like, oh yeah, because they were trying to position themselves, $7, and these guys trying to position themselves to take over DC, because why not? DC was just like in shambles, so why not try to do this? So, they were trying to get that in there, and it's like, oh, let's try to get Henry Cavill back. That's going to help the movie, because everybody's talking about Superman, even though, like, a lot of people were kind of talking about, no, when is Black Adam going to face off against Shazam? And then Superman can be brought in later. And then there was that whole thing when it came to the Rock verse, where it was like Black Adam was essentially going to be the big baddie of the continued, not really Snyderverse. It was going to be a Snyder Rock verse, I guess you could say. It was going to be, that's the thing. It was just like, that's why I don't blame James Gunn for being like, all right, let's go just like a totally different way, because who knows what was going to be happening over here. But it was just going to be like, all right, who's going to be coming back when it comes to this? And then Black Adam, and then Suicide, even though it sounded kind of cool, because there was the rumor that the Suicide Squad and Justice League were going to take on Black Adam. But at the same time, I was like, well, that would be kind of dumb if it was just like two teams taking on one villain. I thought it would be kind of cool if they did a Legion of Doom kind of thing, if like, Black Adam had some villains behind him, which most likely would have been the case. But so it would have been kind of cool to see that, and I'm still kind of curious with that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying, and like I said, it was just like a whole big kind of shit show kind of thing. So yeah, that was part of the article right there, and I was like, yep, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. When I read that, I was like, yep, there you go. Yes, they were trying to get right in there, but didn't quite work. And then all of a sudden, Zaslav was like, all right, I'm going to go with these guys. And now we're getting the new everything. And it's, at this point, I'm just like, all right, it's fine. As much as I would have liked another Henry Cavill Superman movie, I would have loved it. But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, they would have lightened it up. It wouldn't have been the same as previous, for sure. I mean, for God's sakes, a lot of people were complaining that there was that his logo looked too bright, and that they used the freaking John Williams score for his post-credit scene in Black Adam, which I wasn't a fan of. I'm like, can't we use his theme? But they used the John Williams score, so I mean, for the second time, I mean, they did that for Justice, so it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing what they were trying to do, and Henry was game. He was game for that. He was just kind of just going like, hey, I'm game for whatever, I know some people were saying stuff like, oh yeah, he didn't want to work with Snyder, and he was like all about the bright stuff. Nah, he was just a Boy Scout. He was just like, all right, what do you need me to do? Let's do something, and let's work together. So he was always game. I mean, he was game for the reshoots and doing all that. He was game for taking it in a different direction and making it a more, brighter Superman. He was totally game for that. And I don't know. It's always just such a weird thing. But anyway, so there you go. Sinister Six. Now we'll never get the Black Adam versus Superman versus Harry Potter. Damn it, James Gunn. Seemed like Rock thought he was the next big thing and disassociated himself from Shazam, and Black Adam came from Shazam. I know. I think, yeah, he just didn't want to face a kid, I guess. Why wouldn't Henry work with Gunn? Every actor who's worked with Gunn has said... I didn't say that he didn't want to work with Gunn. I was just saying that, like, when it came... Nerdy, you have to listen. I was just saying that, like, the people who hate James Gunn, who love Henry Cavill... I always just found it weird, like, that they were blaming James Gunn, but would they actually want James Gunn to direct Henry Cavill? I would be fine with it. I wouldn't care. Yeah, and I'm sure he would actually work with James Gunn. I was just talking about fans, certain fans. Funny thing, I only dug Henry at the end of Black Adam. He looked good. You only dug him at that? You should watch Man of Steel again. Give it another chance, Lisa. They used it for Headless, Shazam, yeah. I know, people forget how much WB wanted to move away from Snyder. Exactly. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what they didn't want. That's the thing, is like, you don't realize that Toby Emmerich wanted to move away from Snyder and Cavill. And Cavill, I mean, there's a reason why there hadn't been a Superman movie since the debacle that was Justice League. There's a reason for that, because it was just like, you gotta... Cavill was like, no, we gotta do it like this, and Toby was like, no, we gotta do it like this, and there was clashing and all this kind of stuff, and he wasn't all about that. So then it was like, all right, let's make a new fucking Superman. Now, the question is when did James Gunn actually pitch that? Anyways, okay. Now we go over to Marvel Studios with Chris Hemsworth. Now, he was just in a new full-on article, full-on interview and everything, obviously promoting Furiosa. And naturally, if you're going to be talking an in-depth interview, you're going to be talking about your iconic characters. And let's face it, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, that's just, obviously they're going to be talking about that. But there was one thing that I was like, okay, he's admitting it. Yes, good. I want some more people to admit how much of a stupid shit show Thor Love and Thunder actually was. Can we get Natalie Portman to start talking more about it? Can we actually just I mean, Taika Waititi. What was this guy doing behind the scenes? And it's so funny because I was not the biggest fan of Thor Ragnarok when it came out. But after watching Thor Love and Thunder, I was like, you know what, Thor Ragnarok, not that bad because it was a consistent tone. Thor Love and Thunder, what the fuck was this? This was something that was on Saturday Night Live. Terrible. Terrible. I never want to watch this again. This is horrible. And Chris Hemsworth realizes that, thankfully. Thankfully, he does. And yes, this was with Vanity Fair. We'll just pull this quote right here. Chris Hemsworth says he still can't forgive himself for Thor Love and Thunder. I got caught up in the improv and the wackiness. I became a parody of myself. I didn't stick the landing. Yes. Yes. Good job, Chris. That's a way to look at it. You realized, okay. And some people, like I even had some back and forths with people when this came out, you know, just kind of just going back and forth, that a lot of people were just full on blaming Taika. And I'm like, no, yeah, you can blame Taika more, but the blame still is on Chris a little bit, because I saw a lot of people like, nah, it wasn't his fault. It was a script. It was all this stuff. I'm like, no. There's a little bit of blame that does go with Chris too, because this is the character that put him on the map. This is his character. So there's a collaboration involved. I remember after Thor Ragnarok and how they tweaked the tone of Thor to make him a little bit, funny, not as serious. He approached the Russo brothers. This came out, I forgot exactly, I think maybe the Russo brothers talked about this or something, but he told them, he's like, hey, just remember, my character is not as serious anymore. And blah, 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 which makes sense because even in this article, Chris Hemsworth talked about how he felt like Thor was he didn't have the good lines, didn't have the good moments as some of the other characters. But it's at the same time, it's like, dude, it's fucking Thor, man. It's like, yeah, it's not gonna be the same thing. You're not gonna have cool lines like Tony Stark or, Steve over here. I'm just saying, you're not gonna have those. So part of the blame, and he even said right here, improv. So he was doing some ad-libbing. So he was like leaning into it. He was leaning into the comedy and leaning into the zaniness big time. So the fact that he is now reflecting and going, you know what? Yeah, I fucked that up. And being an artist, being, somebody who is in this space, yeah, it's going to eat at him a little bit because it was a miss. It got mixed reviews, didn't make as much. And yeah, and that's the character that put him on the map. So hopefully, we can get another Thor movie that brings it back a little bit. Brings it back to that first one a little bit. That'd be kind of nice, right? That'd be kind of nice. Hopefully. All right, what are you guys saying? Cocaine, that's what Taika was on. Oh yeah. I heard stuff like that Taika was, doing stuff like that and falling asleep on set. I think there was even a video of him asleep on set. So, might be true. They wasted Gore. Oh, yeah. You got Christian Bale, and they wasted that. We got my good buddy Fabian right here. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Hashtag fire James Gunn. Hashtag boycott DC. Well, at least he's limited his hashtags now. You know? And he boycott DC. If you boycott DC, that means that Snyder is just going to come back and make Infinite. Everybody's going to come back if you boycott DC. So now we need an apology from Chris Evans for Captain Falcon. Chris Evans, just man up and report for duty. Okay. Taka tried to do drama in Love and Thunder and it failed. Oh yeah, it failed so badly. So badly. So terribly. Make Thor talk with a Shakespearean slang again. Yeah, I know, right? Another! Can we do that? No, I'm with you on that. All right, we got the Fall Guy now. Who's seeing the Fall Guy this weekend? I'm definitely going to be seeing it tomorrow because I've been looking forward to this movie. You know, it's representing stunt people. It looks like zany. I love, Ryan Gosling is killing it right now. Emily Blunt, same thing. Oh, she's so hot. Love her. And yeah, let's look at some of the reviews when it comes to that, and then we'll see some box office projections. Of course, going to be going to the Devil Fruit site because, it's just the easiest way to do it. I know. We all hate it, and I even hate their new layout. Their new layout sucks. Their new layout really does suck. They, changed it up again. But, hey, 86%. 86% right now when it comes to 125 views. Okay, there we go. So, let's look at some of these right here. Boston Globe. This movie is a lot of things, all of them incredibly fun and enjoyable. Fun, but at its heart, it's a joyous return to form for the romantic comedy. Welcome back. Yeah, it seems like, is that the thing now? Like romantic comedies are making a comeback now? Guess so. Laura says a paean to stunt persons plopped on top of a romantic comedy starring two of the most charming actors in the business. It helps that Waddingham and Taylor Johnson are also deliciously hissable villains that stars and stunts getting us over the humps. And then we got some, we got some bad reviews too. We'll read right here. Gosling and Blunt's chemistry is undeniable. So it sounds like they're just really great. The Fall Guy soaring when the two superstars' charisma flares, creating the film's most surefire pyrotechnics. Nevertheless, Leitch mostly fails to ignite the movie around them. And then we got Arizona Republic right here. It's light, it's airy, it's preposterous, I should say, and it's a lot of fun. The Fall Guy's final act is so convoluted that not even Gosling can keep it on the rails. When the Fall Guy falls, it falls hard. All the stunts will leave audiences breathless while hanging on cheek on the edge of your set. Seat? Maybe that meant to be seat. Gosling is hilarious, charming, and thoroughly entertaining, as are his lead lady, Emily Blunt, and the uncomparable Hannah Waddingham. Waddingham? Probably saying her name wrong. Gosling's performance is a reminder of how many just okay action movies of yesteryear easily coasted on charisma. The Fall Guy is more than okay, but it would be a lot less without Gosling's laid-back warmth. So yeah. That's pretty much it. Sounds to me like it's going to be a good time. And when it comes to the two actors, they have great chemistry. And you could see that. You could see that with the press. You could see that with some of the bits they've done. I'm looking forward to it. David Leitch, don't go in thinking it's going to be some serious movie. It just sounds like it's going to be a ridiculous, over-the-top movie, as he does very well. And I'm so glad that he's not going to be directing the next Jurassic Park movie because it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. Remember when that whole thing came out that David Leitch might be directing the next Jurassic Park movie, and it's like, no. That's not going to work. He just doesn't fit that mold. Doesn't fit that mold. You're going to have some like crazy stunt work when it comes to, I don't know. Forecast for the box office. There it is right there. So according to Box Office Pro, domestically, it's looking to make $30 million to $40 million at the box office. Yep, not too shabby. Hopefully it makes more. I'm hoping for that. It had a $130 million budget, so it's going to have a lot of work. So if it does, I mean, romantic comedies apparently making a comeback, like especially with that one movie that came out with, what's her teats and what's his balls, that came out earlier this year. That made like a pretty good splash when it came to romantic comedies. So maybe this one will also do it too, and it's got a little bit of action, so why not? $130 million budget, and basically saying like that domestic opening, maybe it'll make a splash overseas. Who knows? Seems like Ryan Gosling is just on top of his game right now. And maybe, just maybe, it'll get to that point where it's like, hey, remember when we just went to the movies because we wanted to see movie stars again? And it seems like those two, they're making a killing right now. And that's the thing. I'm surprised there hasn't been more kind of Barbenheimer. Maybe they can't do it because it's like a copyright thing, but I'm surprised they didn't lean into the more Barbenheimer thing. Because you have two actors that were part of Barbenheimer of the two different movies of last year that are now in a movie together. I mean, I guess they kind of leaned into it a little bit, but yeah, very much looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. It pretty much is Barbenheimer Part 2. Part 2. And now we got Barry Jenkins. Oh, when it comes to Mufasa, the Lion King. Now, you guys saw my reaction when it came to Mufasa, the Lion King on Monday's show, and I just watched it and kind of went, okay, some of the visuals look good, the VFX looks fine, and I just went, yeah, but I don't feel any kind of hype. And I know some people in the chat were kind of going like, it's for kids, but I'm like, nah, it's not just for kids. Again, they want to capture the people who love the original Lion King animated movie that came out in the early 90s who are now parents, and yes, they want to capture the whole family thing. I mean, I guess no matter what, they're going to do that, but it's just like, but at the same time, when it comes to some of these movies, they just feel soulless, and especially when you have something like this, because the last one, it's just, I don't really hear people talking about it anymore, and then when it came to this trailer, a lot of people were just kind of going, not really feeling it, and it's like this whole, like, okay, we got this prequel thing, it's Mufasa as a young one, and I guess that's kind of a way to approach it, I don't know, but Barry Jenkins, love ya, talented filmmaker, and a lot of people are going like, why is he doing this? Money. I mean, there's money to be made. You get that Disney contract, you take it. I mean, I don't blame him for doing that. I don't blame Guy Ritchie, who's one of my all-time favorite directors, for taking that Disney money either. You're just going to have directors that can't pass up the Disney contract that guarantees you a big fucking bag. I don't blame him for that. But at the same time, it does kind of suck because you have to follow the Disney machine. You have to follow their rules. You have to give them what they want. And sometimes you just can't give what you want to give to the story. So, I mean, it makes sense that he did it, but hey, I'm totally with him when it comes to him taking that Disney bag. And good on him. Motherfucker got paid. Good on him. Mufasa director Barry Jenkins reacts to fans claiming he's too talented for Disney's soulless machine. There's nothing soulless about The Lion King. Of course he's going to say that. Makes sense. That's how you defend it. Sure. Yeah, let's see. The trailer, Barry shared his first Mufasa on the X, and he said, Barry, you're too good for a talented and Iger's soulless machine. Of course, Iger's been getting a lot of shit. So here's what Barry had to say. There's nothing soulless about The Lion King. For decades, children have sat in theaters all over the world experiencing collective grief for the first time, engaging Shakespeare for the first time across aisles in myriad languages, or myriad, whatever, a most potent vessel for communal empathy. So basically just tweeting that out. You could do a Disney movie for the check in order to work on your passion projects at a later time, but you don't have to shill this. That's something that he continued. Bro, what kind of logic is that? How about this? Here are a few videos from the same Barry Jenkins who premiered Moonlight, as you put it, showing some of his things I was doing in spare time at the same time I was writing Moonlight. So, you know, he's pushing back against it, you know, and some people are pushing it back against him, and you can see it right here. He's getting in some Twitter beefs right here. And I like how this guy, Anthony, right here, just actually pushed back and said, yeah, you could do a Disney movie for the check in order to work on your passion projects at a later time, but you don't have to shill like this. He does have to shill like this. That's the thing. But again, this is, this goes back to, like, James Gunn responding to people. Barry shouldn't be responding to people either. And I'm sure Disney's like, cut it out, dude. But at the same time, it's like, yes, sadly, that's the way it goes. You do one for them, you do one for you. Like Barry Jenkins, like his next project, he's got it in the bag already. So whatever he's making next, he's already got the budget. He's already working on it. He's already scouting locations. He's already got a crew. He's already got things going. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But it's just like, yeah, you do one for that. You got your next flick that you want to do. It's kind of gross. It is kind of gross when you think about it in those kind of terms of like, oh yeah. But at the same time, it's like when they back up that dump truck of money or they drop that fucking sack of money on your doorstep, it's like, how do you pass it up? It's like, well, I can make something. And then I'm just hoping that that he does make something that's, I guess you could say, I guess what's good about this one, what I think Mufasa has against the previous Lion King is the previous one was just trying to do a 3D version of the original movie. It's just that. So with this one, it's a different story. You actually had, you had to come up with a story. This is a prequel. So it's like, all right, that's different. So at least it's going to be a different kind of story. So we'll see. We'll see. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, man. And guys, if you want to become members, I'm going to do a members-only stream after this. I'm going to talk about something when it comes to the movie business after this. So if you want to be part of that, become a member. You don't have an issue of directors using social media, actors, and other artists. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't either. But at the same time, it's like, don't overdo it. You could defend your movie, you could defend all that, but sometimes, and I even say that about James Gunn. I'm like, don't answer every fucking question that you have, so they are about to cuck Mufasa. I don't have a Discord. I thought about starting a Discord. I don't have a Discord. I don't have a Discord server. I think I started because I was looking into it, and my name's like in there. Like I started an account when it came to Discord, but I don't have much when it comes to that. So, hey, look at that, Ted Fitzpatrick. Thank you for gifting some members, some memberships right there. Really appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm going to talk about just some things where I'm just like, I'll talk about that when it comes to the members only stream. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the questions right here. All right, so we got some things. Let's see. Let's make sure there's no drinks. Okay, we're good. Always got to check because you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. All right. Start off with Eric right here. Hey, Dave, with the new Chalice of Blood title, I suddenly started thinking, wait a minute, aren't the novelizations supposed to be the full story? But they have PG-13 titles. Yeah. I mean, they are the full stories, apparently. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't shock me that he changed the titles. Why not? So I wonder, how much did Zack save for the R-rated films? I know. I don't know. That's going to be a good question. I mean, I haven't read the books, but I've heard some things. Like I heard, the way that it starts off is completely different from part one. Anderson Miller, I recently rewatched The Northman. I can I can help, but wonder. Okay, I can help but wonder what a Robert Eggers Thor film in the MCU would look like. Well, first off, I would not want Robert Eggers to be, stranglehold to the MCU machine, unless, they learn their lesson. But I remember I even talked about that. I even made like a thumbnail because I talked about it. I did a video. You can go back and I did that. I talked about, and I think I had Fear Jason help me out to make the thumbnail that I basically was like Robert Eggers Thor movie, like his Thor movie. And I'm like, yeah, that would be pretty sweet if they like went that crazy. I don't think they would not go that crazy, but it would be something pretty special. Devon Wooter, hey Dave, I just watched Whiplash on Netflix. Jesus, J.K. Simmons killed it. Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies in the role. And I just watched Deadpool 1 and 2. Do you have a favorite scene from both of them? I would say like the opening, the whole car, on the freeway stuff with Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2, I don't know what my favorite scene on that one is, to be honest. The opening for both. Yeah, the opening for both is pretty good. Yeah, probably with you on that. So hilarious when he's had Papa, can you hear me? And Papa, can you hear me? That sounds just like Frozen. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question number 1. There's been talks of the Court of Owls coming to live action. So would you prefer it be in the DCU so Matt Reeves can focus on characters like Freeze, Hush, or Clayface? Or I want him to tease that in the Batman Part 2 and then show up in the Batman Part 3 big time. Because the Court of Owls don't have to be at the forefront. It's always just like they're just running shit in the background. Question number 2. With what's coming out of The Rock and Ryan Reynolds getting into a fight on the set of Red Notice, do you see some of the reshoots being filmed for Deadpool and Wolverine being jabs at The Rock? That'd be hilarious if that's the case. I still kind of wonder about that one. I don't know. Still kind of wonder about that. But then again, that would, it would kind of suck if The Rock comes out. I'm actually going to say one more thing about The Rock before I end one of my final thoughts of the stream here. Question number 3, if the old regime were smart, do you see what Zack intended looking like? This is when it came to the build-up side of things the general audience wanted. Almost everything that's here are just examples aside from what Zack did and wanted to do. Oh yeah, there's like so many different things that they could have done. So many like different posters and whatnot. I know there's a lot of people like, that think that it still could be possible, but Cooper Knox, the only to salvage whatever integrity Thor has left as a character, then Marvel needs to reboot him as a full-on badass like the comics instead of keep him as a parody. It won't be a full reboot. It'd be like a softer kind of reboot. Mr. Nobody, is The Rock perfect? No. Did we really expect him to be? The claims really don't put him in the best light, and I bet there's at least one guy in Hollywood laughing his ass off, of course. CJHLFC, what do you believe the main reason for DC not continuing the Snyderverse is? Be fucking truthful. No bullshit. Just say what you want to say. Okay, CJ Redman, I've been saying it for the last how many fucking years? I've said it over and over again. They reacted to BVS's box office. We know this. What the hell kind of question is that? Like I'm not being truthful. I love it. See, some of these guys think I'm like pulling my punches. It's like, no, I'm not pulling my punches. We already know why they didn't. They reacted to the BVS box office and the Rotten Tomato score. So they started just like, they were like, oh, it's too dark. It's too dark. Even Zack talked about how they didn't like the fact that Batman and Superman were fighting each other. So he was like trying to tweak things to get that PG-13 and blah, blah, blah. They just didn't like the direction that they were going. And then they brought in fucking guy with the ball cap. Toby didn't like it. Sujihara didn't like it. They brought in Hamada, and then they were trying to tweak things. They were trying to tweak things for Zack because they just were reacting to that box office and not liking that it was dark. They were wanting to make it like Marvel. Be truthful. Okay. What the fuck am I mean, this shit's already out there. What the fuck kind of thing was that? Just say what you want to say. It's like, I've been saying that since 2017. Some of these guys, they just, I don't know. They haven't been paying attention. And they'll say that I've said things that are different and blah, 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 blah. It's always kind of funny when some of these guys, like, come into my mentions and think I'm not being truthful or not being this, that, or this. I was like, dude, I was saying shit. I was saying shit because I was talking to somebody who was associated, Zack, about the Snyder Cut and revealing things about the Snyder Cut that these fuckers didn't want to believe. You know, a lot of these guys were like, it's done. The Snyder Cut's done. It's complete. It just needs to get released. I'm like, no, it's not. There's still like 30% of the VFX and shit that needs to be worked out and fixed and blah, blah, blah. Remember that? And these guys didn't want to believe that. And then it came to be that, yeah, that was all true. Funny stuff. You got to love that. Be truthful. All right, guys. Members only stream after this, so if you want to be a part of it, become a member, join the Film Junkee family right here, or join the Patreon. Been posting a lot of things on there. I'm posting everything on there. Everything. Ad-free. Everything first. You know, there's the tiers for some perks if you want to, but you can join for free. You just don't get, you get everything, you know, like a day later or so. But yeah, so join that or join the Film Junkee family on the members only. I'll be talking with you guys for a little bit after here, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Everybody else I'll see on the Vodka stream. I got a couple of guests coming on for the Vodka stream. It should be a good time, so I'll see you guys then. We'll do a little bit of Q&A at the beginning. And yeah, guys, appreciate you spending some time with me. Members, I'll see you in a bit. Everybody else, see you Friday. Bye-bye.